twice South African Music Awards nominated Amapiano Prince and Soul singer, songwriter Amos Shili was born in Kaslam, Tembisa raised. He was raised in a church where he would eventually learn that he could sing, working his way from backing vocals to session pianist, then adhering alongside something Soweto, DJ Maphorisa, Kabza the Small and more. And he was with DJ Maphorisa and Kabza the Small on his groundbreaking Emcimbini, #2 on Spotify's top 5 tracks streamed in South Africa. That was in 2020. He solidified his place in Amapiano royalty in 2021, releasing his solo project championing a unique Afro-Yano sound on his debut album, Yimi Lo, featuring Amapiano heavyweights, major league DJs, Focalistic, Ubuhle, and Afro House stalwart Zakes Batwini. His debut broke new ground all over South Africa and received critical acclaim in international publications, with over 3 million streams at the time, clogged up by his album campaign in just 2 months. He has wrapped up the year with the hit song Sola, which we were all jamming to last year. It was actually the other year on Mass Music, his Outer Sharple's album. His voice has proven to be inspirational and versatile, and his crest continues to rise with every note he sings. Welcome to the Hustlers Corner, guys. You're going to experience a lot of Amapiano artists that I'm going to interview and invite to the Hustlers Corner. Why? Because just out of having had an opportunity to travel the US towards the end of 2022, I was not aware of how big Amapiano is overseas. So I'd also like my platform to amplify these guys. Let's hear from them, because it's them that are cooking this sound. It's them that are sitting in those township studios, the KC, and are creating this sound that is breaking grounds all over the world. But for me, another reason for me to bring them along is to make them understand what their creations has become what Maphorisa from back in the day, even Maphorisa to Namatama with Abu Mama have always been yearning for. We've always been yearning for South African music to become global. Well, these guys are global, so they need to know that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Amos. Hey Joe, ifro yami isho kanjani? Proud of you, boy.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's quite an honor. You know, when I was this one, I invited you directly. I did not get anyone to call you.
Sure.
I realized that you've been sabotaging me for many years.
I've been.
Yeah.
But I realized it takes me to build something so that you was
Yeah.
kind of light.
You understand?
Yeah.
One of my social leader.
Thank you for having me. I'm here to learn more than anything. I'm here to learn from you.
I love the approach as we were sitting before the cameras went on. Interview, but it makes me happy because the questions that you are asking, I think, are questions that I think our young artists out there, our aspiring musicians should hear and they should learn from, you know?
Sure, definitely. And there's a lot that I, for one, really want to learn from you, because you've been through the same journey.
Yeah.
No me catching fun, but it's music, it's business at the end of the day. So
Sure. And from now on, since we already have a permanent relationship starting from now on. By default, I'm like, you can call me man or whatever, it doesn't matter. But I always love creating long-term relationships, especially with Abasha Spanish grand, you know. I think the first thing in Kamele, I show you background, because it usually starts from the upbringing.
Sure. So, Kaya Bazalwan, Banga compromise with
Sure.
So, the mailing is something very time. So, at some point, I had to fall in love with it. So, I found music at church and connect and something that I could have more reasons. I actually needed more reasons to go to church apart from putting fully Bible. I mean, fully Bible, I'm so exhausting and so. So as I kept growing up, I learned how to play keyboard. I went to high school. Yeah. I learned how to play piano, grand piano. Escala. I did. I was a sessionist for a lot of local DJs. Then I'm spanning about Trevor.
Abanye noma bangadumanga bamenshi.
Yeah.
Bafika undawo uzosikhumbula please.
Ebabhaya yo.
Ababizo bakhumbula.
About Trevor, about China, about Chroniki. Yo, there's a lot. There's a lot. Potato. Ngababala kuzokushonila.
Sure.
So yeah, from there, ikhona enye video engiyikhiphe zaga.
Yeah.
But we low budget music video. So my time I put my own Amapiano was an Amos music. But I like this song. Amos he likes this type of sound. Amapiano and the first time. So it's got my baby samba, no mutu nyamaleni, 3 months uzongihlanganisa nomuntu kanje. Akase. Wavela sengavela nini ngobo 11 ebusuku. Yakhumbula ngithe nangu ke uMess. Manje ngibheke intana encane siyindanga mos.
Sure.
Awu yiyo le izongikhipha egazi le. Ngibheke kancane. Sasuka lapho athi ngifuna lama separate wale yangoma leya. At that time vele bengasenandaba no music because ngumjito afro pop. Udumi piano, bengazibuni vele ngumuntu ucula piano. But Amos was like, no, ngifuna lama separate. I was like, I have nothing to lose anyway. Do whatever you wanna do with them. I want to small notices. Immediately the next day, but that's how it was. About 3 a.m. Until my notification go Instagram. Okay, who mentioned you? This mentioned you. I didn't even know how it worked. You know, it's mailing reposted. So I saw the vibe, people vibing, and okay, so everyone is excited about the song. But I didn't like the song because they changed BPM in Maya. I said it's so full. But people are mad and saying they love the song. And actually it happened so fast, right? It happened so fast. And I remember the next day, my song for Nilote Baba, Maphorisa wants to see you. Maphorisa. Who's Maphorisa?
Yeah.
Okay, fair. I remember seeing Meaning for the first time. Propaganda people.
Yeah.
Upload me. I want to go to my couch now, slim now.
Yeah. Like I always see.
Yo. I was like, this is the life I want, man. I was like, okay. And that guy, Joe, he didn't even, the way he kept on emphasizing with Maphorisa really wants to see you.
Yeah.
It was like we're going to have this conversation now. It didn't even last a minute, hey?
Yeah.
Nothing gonna.
Awuzokufaka igame in manje ukhona. Ukhona naka decide ukuthi yakufaka uzokufaka manje.
He said exactly those words. Uthi yabona manje ntwana yami, your life will never be the same again.
Yeah.
I took that with me home. I was like, hey, my lady, impilo yami izoshintsha.
Yeah.
He invited me. Intwana zakala uze endlini sizospana. Ngithola went to endlini. We worked. I can't work when there's like a lot of people in studio. So I think he was smart enough to pick it up early. Uthi untwana ngathi uneva sorry, I'm not free. So he'd usually chase everyone. We tell no kaya no Amos no Amos isikhathi baspane no by matapini whatever. Sispane makabuya as staff. But oh no, this is dope. But he angazi ucabanga kanjani umthita le. Like anyeke bekanyeke as a akaphathile izandla ukuthi uzunethezeke ukuthi I know. Now we got it now. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Nishaye enye istina mara ufuna esinye istina. Istina was waphuma Emcimbini.
Yeah.
Which was the biggest song I remember. Ukuba celebrity ngabona ngaleyo. Oh, antu celeb. This is it, Mos. Okay. And you always reminded me with Ndwana Emcimbini at some point it's gonna die out. So you need more songs. So Lawamas Lawang is within our legs with Eshitalo. And I would actually see abantu ngibatholela khaya ukuthi ngathi asena interest kulo kakhulu ngoba lo akasaspani uhlalele into kanje the whole day lo. So I also assess the people around me ukuthi why if uthi mina life yami izochinja why akalo engakashinji why lo you understand. But then I understood ukuthi asifani masingabantu abanye sebenza ngokufana
I-work ethic
ayisifani nokuzimisela kwethu fine so nokuphumelela kwethu anyeke kufana. So after Emcimbini we kept on doing more songs. I remember we did a project ishona malanga but bekungasi project bekuyingoma nje eziningi esizikhona lapha e-studio. Ngisethembise view ngithola call kumina say baba si drop i-EP yaziphi ingoma zonke le ngoma besizirecord ezinye bikwamaqozi sebazilungisile zimnandi kufakwe ini hey manje what's the name of the project? I don't know what's the name of the project. Okay, Shona Malang ayibambelele Shona, you know, like I think we dropped 6 projects at once. Yabo Maphorisa, Duty, PR, Daliwonga, and Nabo Poro no Kabza. People really liked Shona Malang. It did very well, and I gave my all because indala ngifuna la kule simo mnguso. Ngithola sapopa Shona Malang it hit hard amagiko aqala ukungena sawubona so abala sinoma esihleli kanje sithi okay 10,000 5 10 sibuda you know what happened sisase kanjalo on my way to Botswana. It was my first international gig eBotswana. Sinetheze siyeza kunale para lo msindo khona isitori ukuthi kuzovalue country kuzoyenzeka ini dano
esani lockdown
ikhona into enje kuyenzeka into hayi ngeke izenzeke into enje ayenzeka sibuda yayenzeka kwama yonke into kwaba ngathi akazi kumbe namanje ukukhumbula ukuthi abantu ekathi sebabhalela ukuthi umntwana uyophusha le number le so maye bafuna ukubona i-life nayo ishintshe ukuthi umntwana awuyenze ke manje kufika ifamily ithi awunot usahlala la umuntu uzamuse kubi kanjani ngoba sibhayiseka konke sini. And during that period sibuda ngifuna ukutshela amanga yabona inkhawathe psychologically bengasafuni fokole that has to do with music or
serious
bengigrade because manje ngeke izinto ezibhaya for ukuthi ngipush music ngithola and manje I felt betrayed manje why is this happening, why now? I had so many questions ukuthi or ayingifanele impumelelo ngithola so I kind of backslided kancane during that period wafona futhi uporo bafana baka ngayitsori lapha iziseka during this season. That's why I had to get the project there ke device fast to khono dia kaofela nasi sincane wasiguys wasibhekela savuka sabuyela futhi studio angithola because into beyibhlungu ukuthi uyawuza music wakho uyadlala e-studio mara awunani ngiyangithola kumele ugcoke imask ukuze usifihle uyofolela i-350 kudlula umuntu adlala ingoma yakho ngemoto efresh agcwalisa ibhuthi ngecruiser. It really hurts. But also it also motivated me. I want to stay positive, and I think nabantu engikhule nabo, my closest friends, they were there during the whole journey. If bebangekho mhlawumbe kube angazi but ngiyababonga up until today, you know, enebona bazi ukuthi bebasiza mina, you know, for always being there for me, uploma nami. Sometimes bengibahlupha ngiyokuba ngithi I've got an interview angiboleke iphathu, you know, I do that and bangakhathali would still help the boy no matter how many times I ask, you know. Sometimes I keep isitwaja ngefastela ukuthi abazali bangaboni because bazoba nenkinga ukuthi kahle let's start sithengela wena noma sithengela leli artist lakho leli. So in a nutshell I would like to say career yami say yami one ayibhildwanga yimi one abantu ababhaya who edit ama 2 cent 1 rand ngithola izikhulu nasendlini nenkolo yasekhaya to stay grounded, stay always humble, ngibe umuntu enguye ngathathwa umdumo ukuthi okay abantu kuyiwa le manje sonke siyale ithengwa le manje kusekhanjwa ngale ngithola because it's really scary. Mina ngithusa ikusasa even today I still tell people it's okay ngiyabona si grand we are able to buy this and this, but what's going to happen in the next 5 years? Kuzoyenzakalani ngathi in the next 5 years? Are we sisazokwazi ukukhiqiza imali sikhiqizayo manje? Last time I went to Heavy K, he sat me down. He's like, bro, I like you so much. I don't know why I like you, but le mpompi le ephuma ama 50,000
ngeke ihlale ivuleke
at some point izoma mayima kumele kube nendawo la uncila khona yangithola ukuthi ungabhayizisi ngoba
those brackets
yeah uzobhayiziseka noma ubhayiziseka ubuya le phezulu bazokulaha and it doesn't make sense ukuthi intwana bo grand into oyikhalele life in ukuthi uphume la ubele manje ubele ubhayiza kanjani ukuthi ubuye la yangithola. So I'm always conscious about those questions into engihlale ngizibuza yona and mangibheka emndenini wasekhaya abantu ababhaya okay not just emndenini wasekhaya ekhaya abantu ababhaya bayakhawatheka bashoda ngale omunye ushoda ngani omunye usafuna ukuyesigela udinga ini so ufuna ibhuzi manje mangicabanga ukuthi should I buy the shandi sorry ngibile ekhaya ngiyopesha lapha ngilungisa isilingi nani ingenza ukuthi ngicabange straight and know how to use money. So my journey overall it's been more of a roller coaster, especially emotionally and financially, but I'm happy to be here and doing music, and I'm still going to give people a lot of music to buy up
for me usaqala nangibheka manje ngiyachazeka because ungikhubuza mina nangisaqala, you know.
Sure.
I love the energy, I love the hunger.
Sure.
You know, but I also love the fact that you are also thinking about the future.
Sure.
You know, and by the way, I just want to take this opportunity to thank Porita. You know, sometimes we never acknowledge people that are doing incredible work, and sometimes I do know we get too hard on our celebrities or famous people, but honestly, a lot of them do more things than a lot of rich people I know, because they physically, literally change lives that you see. So you've been doing that for many years, my brother. May the good Lord continue to bless you. And for me, empowering intwana sekaslam, basically usha ispansam. You know, lentwana mena ngabi kisho abantu abanjengata baphume Tembisa eDustin. Mari kisho uphuma le Pitori. Do you understand? So you've been doing this for many families, bro. I just want you to keep on succeeding. I want you to become as wealthy as you can because you deserve it. And there's just one testimony just right in front of me now. It's just been sharing the story and all the other lives that you continue to change. And I like the fact that you are sharing the story because now I think you're tired of writing, but now not so grand.
Sure.
They call it paid forward, you know?
True. Spuda, can I ask
you? Yeah, I'm going to be a Spuda, sure.
Thank you. Can I ask you questions actually?
Oh, you can. You can even ask me any questions, sure.
What I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Njengoba sisho manje ukuthi kwamele kube nala sizoncina khona in case if anything happens nyakawathe ngizoyisiyasha. So what's the best investment you would advise a musician to do? Because angifuni ukwenza into ezoyenza ukuthi ngilose focus kwinto engenza music, because I wanna stay in studio, I wanna khiciza ama-hit, but mangenza le ngiluza i-focus, ngiluza ne-creativity yangithola ingqondo yami ayisekho. So what's the best advice you'd give to umuntu ofana nabanye abala endlini?
I think ubuza umuntu right, because nami that's what I've experienced.
Sure.
You know, the more I focused in business, the more my creativity lagged.
Sure.
The more I focused on growing this, the more, you know, I could not release music enough for the audience, the more I could not even focus enough to create hits, etc. So your conversation is right. No focus on as much as you can have a team, you know.
Sure.
So the first advice that I would give you before we even focus on izinto zaseceleni is get omunye usbu, or sort of someone who can give advice as far as your legal stuff is concerned.
Sure.
So obviously that would be a lawyer or an attorney, or noma ubani omcava nje onama qualification ukuthi asishaya ispansakhe, you know. Buza ama question around your career and around izinto zenzayo and around ama contract wakho, legal person. Number 2, accounting person. You know, Tina, I mean, you are reading in the newspaper, Bonang, SBU, or Euphonic, or whoever, tax issues and SARS and etc. And you don't want to see yourself there. You know, you don't want to be about SBU, about Euphonic, about Banbani, who've, you know, gotten into situation in revenue, in government, as far as SARS is concerned.
Sure.
You need to consult your tax consultant, a tax consultant, or an accountant. Also, okay, what if ngithole i-10 rand? Okay, what if ngithola ama-10 rand every weekend? It does not guarantee ukuthi ngiyathola forever. Mara njoba ngiswathola kanje, how do you advise ukuthi njoba maye mina ngifuna okay igoli yami uqala record company yami or mhlambe nginayo label nyane ngiregister or okay ngispana kanjani ukuthi i-tax ukuthi mele yabo, and then you're getting it from the right person uku-advisor. And abantu abanjalo kusabantu abadurayo, abantu abangakhona ukuyi-advise, abanye ngakhona ukuvumelana nabo ngesincane nyana every month banakekela ama-affairs wakho. That's the first advice I can give you. Legal and accounting. The next advice that I'm going to give you, the third advice would be, it's not easy to go start and build and succeed building Abo Mofire or Abo Patu or Abo Trip, and it's possible. It's our time now, and it's possible, and it's happening. But it can be time consuming. I don't know how many years it took Kanye West to go build Easy. We are on my 9th year. Last month I was celebrating 9th birthday in Mofire. I got a scarf. Not for that, I got a scarf in Mofire. You know? But why? We've built it the way we have, and it's growing the way it is because it's disciplined. Nangita is khafi, it's a choice. Every cent you reinvest back into the business. So you never know what you're khafanini riding. So as much as you know passion, you grow into investment in your sizak. Because mina food saying like sina and from when I say kaluk to I say kaluk khaf. But how long did it take me? 9 years. Now imagine when again. Instead you go to Kali Mofire, you tata 9 years, or Kali Part, or whatever. Which I'm not saying you must not start. Whatever you're passionate about in starting a business or investing in whatever. Real estate, boy.
Real estate.
Property, boy. The easiest way is a cash. And the advice I can give you, the first thing you do, you deal with what they would call it black tax. Hambil boy. Hambil hlala noma gogo netime aphansi. Mama ngicabanga nina if singathatha lendlu si renovate into ama room ayi-20 sifaka abaqashi uzokuthi uma already netime abathini if uma already netime abathi when uyazi ukuthi okay right ngishaya research ukuthi how long would it take me and how long would it cost me ukuthi ngithathe idladla lasedladleni ngilithene into 20 rooms lapho wenzani. Number 1 unyusa value edladla lakini. Number 2 you are turning idladla lakini from ukuthi nilkhafe every month into lona linkhafeni every month. But at the same time, number 3, you are shifting, and I won't say other people look at it as a burden. It's not a burden. We are responsible to look after where we come from. We are responsible to look after our parents, to look after things zasemadladleni. Abanye abantu baba akheli bushar, abanye abantu no umakheli supermarket, omunye umuntu no umakheli spaza shop. Udlesi sasedladleni sibheke edladleni. But a business that is never going to go through recession, a business that is recession proof, abantu they'll always look for shelter, boy. Abantu they will always look for a room, boy. Thathi idladla lakini uringene time analethi ku grand ball ama room ayi-20 i-value yayo seyinyukile and then lenzani ledladla abaqasha abayi-20 ama room ekasaqala kuboma 1.5 amanye boma 2 stina amanye 2.5 amanye 3 stina 3.5 amanye even boma 3.8 4 stina yadepend ukuthi useTembisa or useSoweto nokuthi lawo ma room oshaya kanjani plazona intwana esilem so uzofaka boma wifi uyofaka boma DSTV uyenza ibe top so then we are able to charge boma uqala boma 2 mhlawumbe irent eli1 boma 2.5 iroom eli1 now ayi-20 agama lina ama 2.5 ayi-20 mali. So if unqinza i4 room wapho ama room ayi-20 not even 2.5 let's say iroom eli1 likhafa 2 stina mali nama 2 stina ayi-20 40 stina le passive income. I-passive income kusho ukuthi waya sometimes ingacracka and then wenzani uyacava ukuthi endlini sebakrena mawuleli netime abanakekela nje abaqashi nani nabo bangadecide ukuthi ngale 4 stina engena 40 stina engena every month bayobhayela idladla elsewhere or mhlambe bazohlala khona lana nalabaqashi mhlambe amanye ama room kuba wabo kuphuma kubo marapo wenzeni uyazi ukuthi udile ne black tax edladleni bathola 40 stina every month non-stop and kwenzakalani i-value yale property so uyincinzile from i4 room to idayiding i-value seyinyukile. If uslam enough une-accountant egrand futhi yakhona ukuringa ne-accountant udlalela man accountant kusipana kanjani ukuthi ngirefinance le dladla ukuthi ebhenki basigayele enye inyuku for le dladla leli njengoba sesilikhulisile selingaka so that edladleni bangancinza leyo nyuku bayobhowe elinye vie.
No, it's actually good advice.
Yayizwa le nto ne? Yeah. So the easiest thing or the easiest way for me is real estate property, especially township property. Ama room awaseTembisa ayahafa. eHospital View witness Mtaka. One of his properties, I think they are, 3.5 a month, i-room eli1. Because bashayela into top. You know, banombhede la, bane-shower yabo laphana, bane-kitchen yani mini kitchen. Umuntu erumini lakhe nakangenile umnandi akahluphi umuntu. ushaya communal DSTV banama DSTV bonke ubashaya ngeWi-Fi bonke ushaya high fence walls njengala kanje uyacaba ukuthi igebengu azingeni ufaka ama-camera electric fence bamnandi baseklasi mara kuba ngathi basesababa that's why bangamind kuyihafa not only 2 stina khona uwitness bekangitshela khona bahafa boma 3.8 ngenyanga mara why because usendaweni eprime hospital view kusethembisa phela imidrand nayila ipitori nayila i-airport nayila ama-freeway nawa wonke la and usejozi ekuruleni vye nayi ne-airport uyangiunderstand.
No, that's a good advice. That's good. Can I keep asking you?
Yeah, qhubeka boy. So for me na the reason why ngibizela idide ngokuthi mele nigelezeni kithi mele nisibuzeni kanje because that's information but in mele information sidlulisela kwa ningatuna ama flop esiwachunile.
What's the biggest mistake you've done, especially with music?
The biggest mistake I've done was being extravagant.
Okay.
Yes, at some point you become a celebrity and you get a lot of things for free. But I think umtumo, the latest car, the latest iPhone, the latest DKNY, Balenciaga, Gucci, benginazo zonke.
Okay.
Nikari ngizidrayiva zonke, mara nangihlala manje sengibheka ngithi cho. I can only imagine ukuthi zonke leza impahla leza nginomzimba oyi-1. I can only wear one outfit at a time. Nomzimba oyi-1, I can only drive one car at a time.
Marasbuda, at that point we brand. So you wanna look like an artist. You wanna look like into yovela. Noma uvele kasi intwana encane zibe inspired. Tayi khotmane selihamba ngani in but to what extent do you do that? To what extent do you like ikhona umkhawulo uthi akhazi angisandluleli la mangibhaye eGucci ngigrand or ngifuna nani like to what extent do you?
That's a very good question. In the beginning, the easiest way to look like you've got money is to wear expensive clothes, especially the very well-known brands, your Balenciagas and the Guccis, etc. That's the easiest way, and a lot of people feeling like they've arrived. But there's also a lot of musicians who always look good on stage, and so lezo mpahla bayazithungelwa.
Okay.
Unomuntu wakho maziyo ukuthi awusibali uyongithungela. Or usesters banibani or anti banibani uyangithungela mara nangizishayile lapha stage abachavi
sure
kuba sengathi because we start
umthungu compete neGucci
angithi awucompete wena nabo when you are an artist
mara ngisho phela angisho ukuthi akazi mhlambe the way mina ngicabanga khona ukuthi people perceive you differently when you dressed expensive things noma uthi hayi mina performance yami ngifuna 50,000 they don't hesitate bazogaya ngoba uhamba ubhake i-V-class ngaphandle bayabona na ukuthi nomuntu ugcoke into ekanje and then makumele unegotiate mina ngomthungu
so that's why kumele ucheck isikhwama sakho ube reasonable nanga umthungu mara at least yabona uyakhuluma kahle say for example ibhasi there's no need for the beginning so bamba i-V-class the beginning ngazibamba ngeHyundai nibeke emagigini iHyundai nibeke emagigini ibhasi
okay
ibhasi leHyundai lanibeka emagigini mara yes at some point mhlambe ke ibhasi mhlambe ningathi V-class because ibhasi ni safe futhi car ngoba i-V-class is safe iza naleyo safety vibe and I'm not saying ukuthi impahla is expensive ungazibhayi
sure
but iba ne limit now as you say ungabi njalo every new thing every new because ugcina so uba njengami ubheke ezinye impahla ezingakanani uya like le impahla lezi mhlambe nazi zonke sengihlotma like manje angisagqoka amagusha nawuzibheke like le impahla lezi mhlambe eziwetha ama-5 ezinye uphisane ngazo marizida and I'm like imagine if le mali le nazi zonke le part nalamateki if ngangenza ngazo ama-room or ngangibhaya ngazo ama-apartment imagine if lawo ma-apartment nalawo ma-room manje sebawetha malini if bengenza ama-room ngangiwabhaya ngey'nkathi zenyuko yabo ma-remember when itrain nabo siguqa ngamadolo nabo mzekezeke nabo brown sasifana that imagine if leyo nyuko yonke bengilahlela ku-property imagine kube yonke leyo nyuko umuntu bekayenza kanjalo kube kudala umuntu waba yibhiliyonere mara ngiyaku-understand i-pressure ukuthi uyintwana usestyleni kumele uvele yenze mari yenze nge-timing ungayi-overdo ngoba izokushaya esikhwameni and ama-hit angeke aze waya there's gonna be a time where kuba nendlala yama-hit nakunendlala yama-hit wena uyacava ukuthi the time boya emashowini nibuilde i-relationship bohlala u-early for i-show bohlala u-prepared for i-set yakho bohlala uyinakekela i-voice ungafika estage lapho i-voice yahohoza bungathi nawufika emagigini ufika ne-entourage abantu abayi-13 ucost i-promote bungathi wena na une-hit irada yakho becela izinto ezi-unreasonable ama-champagne ayi-5 amabhodlela ayi-4 namablomu namakhandlela sizokugaya ngoba une-hit and sifuna uzwakala mara wena wenza kanjani wenzela ukuthi nasongana-hit angeke sisakubiza because wena wawuthi na u-rainbows treat us so mara nangathi uyabheka amanye ama-artist mafika izolo isaperforma nano u-escudi usaperforma nano uvini usaperforma nano uChristo usaperforma nano ufresh usaperforma nano ngiphume estates mina bengishaya ithono estates for 3 months ngisaperforma nano anginane album elisha ngikheriwa ibrand why because then you build relationships why ngokuthi the time hot you are building relationships instead of charging lama promoter because lama promoter that's why bagcina babhuka ama DJ abhaya instead of ama artist why because i-artist nayizwakala iza ne-band ithola ukuthi i-half band mhlawumbe abantu abayi 3 4 5 so i-tour manager ma-backing vocalist that time kumele i-promote i-organize amahhotela for abantu abayi-10 kumele i-organize igawulo for abantu abayi-10 i-organize ama-flight for abantu so ku-expensive ukubhuka ama-artist so that's why they would rather book a DJ u-DJ bayazi uzayi-1 or baza bayi-2 or baza bayi-3 and then yacava ukuthi ngemnandi ne-rider yakho akumelanga ibe unreasonable i-rider mhlawumbe ibhodlela nyana li-1 limnandi or amabhodlela ayi-2 mhlawumbe nani mina nangibhuka for instance uyazi ukuthi Grootman lizicelela imofine namanzi kuphela are you serious just mofine water that's it like yeah no I'm good why ngiyacava ukuthi ngi-easy maintenance nalo muntu we-promoter uyajabula ukuthi oh cheap mustan ukusipana nalo muntu uyangifundana unless nginama-client ibrazame sifuna ukusiyaza kule gig yakho nani ngithi no it's fine just give me 1 bottle for i-outzama the rest bazowathenga because ngiya-understand ukuthi naye urun ibhizinisi kumele athune inyuku yini uyangifundana
so I was very fortunate ukuthi from ekuqaleni kwami i-management yami ngisipane nabantu ababhaya omunye umuntu angathi Amos ngiqale nawe la usesekasi usesempungu and then obviously ama-manager awafani ne-knowledge yabo ayifani yangithola nama-contacts wabo awafani khona who can just make one phone call already so se-TV already so ubukwe kuphi khona abanye they need to hustle and you know yangithola is it a bad thing to tell because ngibuya naye kasi ukutshela i-manager yami le engibuya naye kasi ukuthi boys nabona manje nawe uyabona ngifila ngathi i-brand siyakhuphuka manje sekwelinye izinga and we need more manpower or rather I need to change i-management kuwe ubona ngumuntu osileho ngoba sengigrand or ngibona ngomuntu angazi what do you think what's your
that's
take?
a very good question Ntwana uslave ne and because siyabodaki you also
and you as if flop kuthini you could say ngibuya naye ekasi anye ngimlahle lo uphushe na maro you still it feels like you are drowning you are not sprouting because he can't do much he still needs to go back to the book afunde ezinye izinto and then udelay i-process ukuthi sifike la uyangithola and then omunye umuntu angathi hayi Ntwana chinda lo muntu uye la uzombona sombona mare I'm still clueless ukuthi what's the right way to go about it what's your take?
I think for me now what I would do is I'd go about it differently. I would say lalela ntanga as njengoba uyabona ukuthi my izinto sezayenzeka and we need to get into high levels basically kumele umfake under pressure ukuthi not necessarily ukuthi because the game and it's not like kumele uyehlalele eklasini ukuthi kumele ayoshaya amakhosi ayogeleza but they must up their game
okay
umtshela untanga ukuthi it's time we up our game nami self njoba now you are upping your game you're going more into studio you're writing more songs you're dedicating more time to your art because as you grow now you're actually even putting more effort to even grow more because isipani sakho sifatela kobudu I think naye kumele umhlalise phansi umfake kuleyo pressure ukuthi lalela man our goal as a team is to achieve this do you think ukuthi we can achieve this sisebenza the way sisebenza ngakhona I doubt wena what do you think involve eqaleni nokuthi umgayela lenye ukuthi lalela man I think over the next 6 months or this year njoba nonyaka uqeda uqala ku 2023 kanje asiphushe madala and let's find ways ukuthi mhlambe sigeleze from kamanye ama managers or mhlambe sithola nabanye abantu abangas-assista somehow wena wenzani umgaya lifeline untanga ukuthi yena azibophe ngayo or yena umgaya i-blank page ukuthi yena makaligcwalise so that if akaperform mhlambe within the next 6 months or mhlambe this year it's even too long because sometimes anganikhosta no-2 because if yena angaperformi anigawuli nonke now uyakhona ukuyibona i-rate ukuthi nawe lo muntu it's been 3 months and uchintshile mawufaka more effort wenzani sekanabo bani uyambona ukuthi nami sekangifake endaweni so why because naye uyakhula ngeknowledge yakhe it does not mean ukuthi nalaba abanama-connection ize bashaya one phone call bafike banjalo nabo bafike bangacavi next egamini mara bazimisela ukuthi bacave abantu but ape igame yabo knowledge nabo. That's why bagcina until to where they are, and that's why now the management lento ngiqeda ukutshela yona is an exercise of creating relationships with the promoters.
Sure.
Because if my manager is telling clients that I want 5 bottles of cognac, and otherwise the gig is not happening.
Sure.
I want 2 bottles of Ciroc. I want 2 cases of then your manager is also doing you a disservice.
Sure.
These are the things that you discuss with your manager. Why? Because those things are also relationship building. Your manager knows he's got your best interest at heart, and he knows what he's building relationships. So there's no need to I'm a rider, be too expensive for my promoter. Let's buy 6 for one. There is no need. Other things we cut them out. We focus on those that matter. Marina has got the hunger to grow, and he has bonella na ukuthi ayifake effort yokuthi akhule. Other than that, I think after you've had that serious conversation, you'll check the results as time goes. And now uzospanisana naye kumnceda naye ukuthi improve abe better. But now ubona ukuthi akusabi na difference. Unfortunately, then that's when, like for instance, like a business owner, because it's your business, it's you at the end of the day, the brand. A business owner has to take the decision to fire the employee because he's tried to tell the employee to up their game, he's tried to tell the employee to change their acts, he's tried to tell the employee to arrive earlier, to reach deadlines, to go better themselves, but they have not been listening and there has been no change. And then at some point, unfortunately, you have to make those difficult decisions.
Well, I've been fortunate enough because I've been thinking spanning out from the very first person, but before we actually started working, they actually set me down with Amos. It's moving, it's actually moving, it's moving. And at some point, I'll have to hand you over to someone who's more knowledgeable, who's got more connects and to the next level. And that's exactly what happened. And up until this day, I'm so grateful to Ushiba Mazaza.
Thank you, Shiva. Sure.
Jackie Queens, Jack Mashala,
Jack Mashala, ta.
And now I'm with Leroy Koza.
I know you're the right one. Leroy is the one. Sure.
Yeah, so I'm
Leroy, ngicela unakekele intwana yethu mfethu. Siyancane le ntwana eTembisa, sure.
Yeah, I mean, talent is Buddha. We all have talent, but uyabona ungakhipha umcimbini nami ngikhipha umcimbini mara ukuthi umcimbini wakho uyenzani ngawo kudependa ethimini yakho yangithola mina wami ungangiraisela imeter ngonyaka it's the same song mara wakho ungaphelele kazi or uyangithola. So also in management it plays a huge role. The team that you have, that photographer, that guy who takes you to gig noma unganamali, they really matter a lot. And then but another question according to you, what's a good manager? Because in Katinza Manje we find there's a lot of people who call themselves I manage who, but Mautu Healy from Fao Yambugela is actually just taking bookings, just making we are receiver phone they're just taking bookings. But according to Wena, what's the good manager?
You're very right. A good manager is a hunter.
Okay.
A good manager is a lion. They go out there, they look for work. A good manager is out there selling you. A good manager says, Ntwana manje, for videography, we need better quality. Let's get a better camera. Mm-hmm. A good manager says, Lalela Ntwana man, lately man, you've been sleeping too late at night. Your voice ngathi yakawateka. A good manager has got your best interests at heart. A good manager sits down and putting together proposals for you guys, searching, emailing people out there. A good manager creates new relationships. A good manager, as I'm saying, is a lion, is a hunter. Is out there so that he can bring this food for you guys to eat. Because when the brand attracts the interest, but the manager does not mean it must just be a booking agent where they're just waiting for a phone to cry. They must be out there hunting, selling you to brands for potential sync deals, selling you to brands for potential sponsorship, speaking to promoters for potential events, and your own events, signature events. I mean, how many years Ushim Zashai one-man show? It's grown now. Even if no one has a show, one-man show, a good manager says, Lalela Antona, let's start our own. But maybe the first 3 years, I'm sense in you, but say build the brand. So that even one day, I mean, look at Cotton Fest. Rick is no longer around, but you go to Cotton Fest, it's packed, it's a success. It's nice. Why? Because they built something. And he had good people around him and people to even continue the legacy forward. So a good manager is somebody who wants to help you achieve your dreams, and who's got your best interests at heart. And a good manager goes out there to hunt, to bring opportunities to the table, as opposed to always waiting for the phone to cry.
Okay, so I'm just gonna be out of context. Kancane.
Yeah, no, take your time.
So no Brazix the last.
Yeah, Bantwin.
Yeah, it's expensive.
You must say Grammy Award-winning Grootman. You must say
The
I was
Grammy.
the Grammy Award-winning Grootman. So,
Congratulations.
what a jayab.
So yeah. So besikhuluma ngokuthi ufuna ukubonakala umuhle. Okay. Would you rather buy it doesn't have to be an expensive car. Would you rather buy a beautiful car, Spuda? Or would you secure a home for yourself? And considering the fact that you are hardly home, uhlala usestradini, uhlala wenza ama-deal, ama-meeting, ama-handshakes, and people conclude on amanye ama-deal, or they give you some deals because you look the certain way, you look convincing. I mean, upage ML ngaphandle, no. Lo masingamfanda ngemali nge-1 million, he's definitely gonna deliver. Ngenxa yokuthi kune influence yokuthi ugcokeni uhamba ngayo. So imbuzo wami lapho, would you rather secure a home first, ube grand, wazi umndeni usharp, or would you rather buy a car that's gonna take you from point A to B, ikuhlanganise nabantu abaright, make you look good ebantwini abaright, and etc.
I'd rather do what I told you the first thing earlier. To go secure an asset that's going to look after my family, and the same format strategy that I've used, borrow my room for red light and good a passive income, is the same format I'm going to use for myself.
Okay.
To go build or borrow my room for myself. Or when you start growing, you can start buying an apartment. Then they own many apartments all over the country. But I'm a room because Tembisa and I would not advise an apartment. I'm a room because they are more affordable.
Sure.
And everyone can relate. I'm going back to that conversation.
Sure.
The same way, you need to remember you don't have to always look for money and create an asset in my room.
Yeah.
You can do it once, refinance it with the bank, and then get the tenants to pay the bond, and then you get the money from the bank to rinse and repeat the process, so you create more assets. Imagine if unama 10 wa unayo or renovate each ibana 10 new every month. Then not even 10, let's say mhlambe eyabazali neyakho. I'd rather have eyami and room 10 or 20 and abaqasha anga enyuku every month. Now enyuku every month, passive income that
Sure.
Property indawo. Then ngithola inyuku ephuma ku property. Ngayibhaya tot ne Porsche, angimind because ngiyazi enye iyezi inyanga nayiphela. And the le property angeke iphele. Even in 7 years, even abantu bazolobela basayifuna shelter. And guess what? In 7 years, the property value bese inyukile futhi. So then inyuku yalapho ungayenza noma yini. Ungayibhaya ML, ungayibhaya leyo Gucci still nawufuna, ungatayilisha wenza into oyifunayo, but why? Because leyo nyuku leyo iphuma kuma assets wakho angapheli umsoco, angaphuma efashionini, angabhayiziswa irecession.